good? Welcome back to another pick a card reading, or hello if you're here for the first time, welcome. So today's reading is, who are you growing into, or in what ways are you growing, right? So we have three groups for you to choose from. We have group 1, group 2, and group 3. If you want to pause the video to choose your group, feel free, but I shall see you in your readings. Hey gorgeous people, if you chose the first group, then this reading could be for you. So who are you growing into? We'll look at the tarot cards first. So the first card we have is the Queen of Swords reversed, Ten of Swords reversed, and the Moon reversed. So who are you growing into? Okay, so for this group, you're growing into someone who is less guarded. For some of you, you could be growing into someone who's lowering your walls or your boundaries. For some of you, this could be like a good thing. Obviously, I'm not going to, I don't know, for everyone. But for some of you, this does feel like a good thing, especially if you are someone who is normally quite, self-controlled or really, careful of themselves and maybe what they say, how they approach things and people. Like if you resonate with that, then I definitely feel like you lowering your walls could be a positive thing for you. So who are you growing into? I feel like you're growing into someone who is maybe less cold or less reserved in some way. You're growing into someone who is not so hard and critical of themselves. You're growing into someone who's independent, someone who doesn't overthink, or someone who has, a better handle on, overactive thoughts. So yeah, for some of you, you could be growing into someone who learns how to, quiet certain thoughts, especially if they're not, especially if they're not the most helpful to you. So yeah, you're growing into someone who is not gullible or, not naive. Someone who doesn't care about their appearance. And this doesn't necessarily mean in a way where you're kind of just like, I don't know. But it just feels like it's in a way where you're being more true to yourself, however that manifests for you. But yeah. So some of you also could be growing into your quirks. Kind of growing into things that make you different. For some of you, you could be growing so yeah, for some of you, you could be growing into something that makes you different, or maybe something is going to become more apparent to you soon, which will allow you to kind of grow. And I feel like this is some form of, I don't want to, it just feels out of the ordinary, it doesn't feel typical, if that makes sense. So for some of you, you could be growing into something that is not seen as, typical in some way. I hope that made sense anyway. But yeah, for this group, I see you really growing into someone who gives zero shites about, what people think about you. You're growing into someone who rises above their problems, and for some of you this really does feel almost like effortlessly in a way. It's like you've been through a lot, you've learned a lot of lessons, and for some of you it's like you're taking that knowledge to help you avoid certain things, or it's just like, I've seen this play out before, like we don't need to repeat that mistake. So for some of you, you could be growing into someone who trusts themselves, who trusts their past experiences as well, especially in regards to how that manifests today. So yeah, you're definitely growing into someone who doesn't care about people's opinion, who doesn't care about gossip or bitchiness, either whether that's directed towards you or whether, you participate in that energy, even if you're around people who, gossip or are bitchy, or people who, gossip about other people to you. I don't know, whatever the case may be, I feel like you're growing into someone who just doesn't care about that energy. It's just maybe not in alignment for you at this moment or anymore. Um, so yeah. So for some of you, you're growing also into someone who notices when they're exhausted or taking too much on, and kind of being able to, work around that as well. So yeah, you're also growing into someone who's able to kind of let go of betrayal and regret. Someone who's not going to repeat past mistakes, or you're going to be more observant, or like clued up in regards to certain situations that could be potentially repeating the past. This could be in regards to people, relationships, emotions. But yeah, I feel for some of you are also growing into someone who's a bit more cunning, who's a bit more sly. um like, this doesn't feel like a bad thing. It feels like you're growing into someone who's maybe a bit more methodical in some way. So yeah, you could also be growing into someone who's letting go of fears. This could be in regards to aggression. So you're also growing into someone who speaks the truth at the right time. um 1 second. Yeah. So yeah, you're also growing into someone secure, but this could be different ways for different people. Like, for some of you, this could be in terms of, confidence, self-worth. It could be in regards to financial security. It could be in regards to, balancing things out in your home life and having a peaceful home life. Whatever the case may be, you're growing into someone who is secure. So you're also growing into someone who's composed as well. It's like, it feels like game face, like it's like, imagine you're there with a straight face and like people are trying to get you to like move or like shift. I feel like some of you are just going to be in that really um you can't make me jump kind of energy. Like, you're so composed and put together in a way. Like, it's if someone was trying to make you laugh, like, you'll be straight faced, like it'll be hard to make you laugh. If someone was trying to scare you, it'll be hard to make you jump. I don't know, it's just that kind of energy where it's just like, yeah, you're growing into someone who's composed, like someone who's not easily shaken, if that makes sense. So I feel like you're also growing into someone who's more aware of their karma. Maybe, the karma you're attracting, stuff like that. But yes, so who are you growing into? So we have here money. So I feel like some of you are growing in terms of like finding your source, finding that thing that maybe makes you passionate, that makes you excited, something that truly aligns with who you are. And I feel like for some of you, you're kind of discovering this, and maybe even becoming more open to certain things, which helps you to discover something that is more in alignment with you. So yeah, for some of you, you could be growing into someone who is, finding or, searching for their true power. And I feel like you're going to find it as well. So who are you growing into? Oh, nice. So we have self-confidence through God confidence. Believe in yourself by believing in God working through you. I love that. So what are you growing into? So yeah, you're growing into someone who maybe believes in yourself. So maybe, connecting with your true power. For some of you, maybe you're connecting with a spiritual power. You're becoming more in alignment with, I don't know, it's just like maybe let me think of a better way to say this. Yeah, so with these two cards, I feel like you're growing into someone who is really realizing the source of their power, or realizing how strong they are. Um, and yeah, maybe even kind of, if you align with this, kind of realizing that there is higher powers working through you, protecting you, working with you. Um, and yeah, and that's who you're growing into. Maybe for some of you, you're going to have more of an in-depth or in-tune connection with maybe your guides or some higher power. We also have work of art. I love it. So, who are you growing into? So you're growing into someone who's beautiful. For some of you, maybe this is like some form of, glow up, as they say. um, Maybe you're growing into someone who appreciates their beauty as well. Like whenever I see this card, you know how like something is like a work of art. You, it's like it's beautiful, but everyone kind of perceives it differently. And I feel like I don't know, maybe some of you are just going to be coming in to, certain things that make you unique and make you a work of art and kind of, realizing that. I feel for some of you, this could be in regards to how you put yourself together. It could be beautiful, it could be unique, or you're growing into someone who's just going to feel more comfortable just doing them, who cares? But yeah, so let's see what else we have. So we have elephant, greatness. Love is your strength, leadership is your path. Your wisdom inspires everyone you meet. You can overcome any problem. You will naturally and easily achieve success. Yeah, see, I don't know. I don't know if it was in relation to success. But earlier there was a message about something just being a bit easier, for you guys. And yeah, that's what you guys are growing into, or this group is growing into someone certain things are maybe just happening will happen more naturally, or because your energy is like more relaxed or less, forceful in some way, maybe less guarded even, you're able to kind of attract things more naturally, especially in relation to your success. But yeah, so who are you growing into? So you're growing into someone who is great, okay? You're growing into someone who is a leader in their own right. For some of you, this could even be like some form of like fame, or, just being well known for something. Um, so yeah, you're growing into someone who's strong. So for some of you, you're also growing into someone who's kind of aligning with their heart chakra, maybe, opening up their heart space a bit more as well. So you're also King of Swords at the bottom. You're also growing into someone who inspires people. Maybe, inspire the people you meet. This could be indirectly or directly. It's like if you were a stranger, but I saw you and you are just so yourself and you're so chill and humble and confident, like you could inspire me to maybe do that myself, so for some of you, but for others of you, it could definitely be your words, your experiences, different things like that. But yeah, you're definitely growing into someone who inspires people for the better. For some of you, I really feel like this is you kind of holding up a mirror to certain people. Um, yeah. I don't know why I'm getting this message, but for some of you, I'm getting the message that you're growing into someone who shows people how they're ignorant in some way, It's like you're judging me for dressing the way I'm dressing, but I like you could make this person feel foolish or silly for even judging for someone for the way they dress or how, they move, especially if they're not doing it with bad intentions. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, for some of you, you're really holding up a mirror to people and kind of showing them ways where they're not, where they're just being judgmental and not nice for no reason. But anyways, and we also have owl magic. Yes, that's so nice. So for some of you, okay, so it says here, choose to know the truth because you can. Open your inner vision. You can see through deception, let the past go and make room for a better life. Rise up, magic and wisdom are your birthright. So we have two cards here that mention wisdom. So for some of you, you're definitely growing into someone who's wise, who is maybe acknowledging their experiences and kind of turning that into wisdom. That's such a beautiful thing. Um, let's see, who are you going into? So you're growing into someone who's like maybe expanding their mind in some way as well. You're growing into someone who's able to let the past go in order to, make room or align with better things for you. So yeah, you're definitely growing into someone who's rising up, stronger. And this doesn't even feel like in a way where it's like I need to be defensive. Like it feels in a way where you're so cool and composed in who you are and what you stand for, and it almost feels like rising from the ashes, but it's like there's no crowd, there's no people like watching you rise from the ashes, but it doesn't matter, you know. But yeah, so for some of you, you could also be grown into someone who maybe sees through deception as well, or when people are trying to be deceptive. So yeah, that is all I have for you though, for those of you. So for some of you, you are also growing into someone who is deepening their intuition, deepening their magic, okay? Yeah. But that is what I have for you though, for those of you who chose this here group. I hope it could resonate. I hope it could make sense for you, or be helpful in some way. But yeah, I'm wishing you all the best, okay? Please take care of yourselves. Bye. Hey there, gorgeous people. If you chose the second group, then this reading could possibly be for you. So, who are you growing into? Okay, we'll look at your tarot cards first. Okay, so we have the Seven of Cups upright, Ace of Cups reversed, okay? And we have the Ten of Pentacles upright. Nice. Okay, so who are you growing into? Okay, so for those of you who chose this group, I feel like you're growing in to someone who has a lot of opportunities, and someone who feels comfortable exploring these opportunities as well. For some, you'll be feeling like a kid in a candy store. I feel like this is completely unrelated to this reading though, but someone wanted to let you know that soon you're going to be feeling like you have so much options, and like all of these options are going to be like A1, But yeah, so yeah, you're growing into someone who won't easily close themselves off, especially without giving something a chance first or giving it a try. But I feel like it's like you're going to be attracted or be feeling more in tune with opportunities and possibilities that are actually for you, that maybe excite you, that you can see yourself doing. So I don't feel like these opportunities are going to be things that it's just really not meant for you, and it's just going to be end up being a lesson. I don't really feel like it's like that for a lot of you. um But yeah, I feel like for some of you, you could also be growing into someone who is more emotional, or maybe just more in tune with their emotions. Like you're growing into someone who feels their feelings, but maybe doesn't try to like avoid or try to reject certain feelings. It's like if I'm feeling, excited in this moment, let me be excited. If I'm feeling down in this moment, let me be down, and kind of do whatever I need to do to look after myself in that moment. I just feel like a lot of you are going to be more in tune with your emotions, and that's how you are growing. So yeah, I feel like you're growing into someone who does maybe more meditation, or just someone who's just more, harmonious within themselves. So I feel like you could also, maybe your creativity for some of you is growing. Maybe your creative juices will be flowing. So I feel like some of you are really growing in terms of, being vulnerable or being more emotionally open. But this feels like in a way where it's more discerning on your part. So it's like being open, but again, I'm not open to any and everything. But having said that, I do feel like you are going to be attracting more things that are, in alignment with you. And if it's not in alignment with you, I feel like it's not going to be hard for you to spot it, or, I just don't feel like something's going to, come in at being disguised as a blessing and it turns out to be, a lesson. I don't really feel like it's going to be like that. Um, but yeah, you're definitely growing into someone who doesn't miss opportunities, or you kind of just make the most out of, any given opportunity. So maybe even if it's something that's not normally in alignment with you, maybe you kind of give it a go and it turns out, hey, that wasn't pretty bad, you know what I mean? So for some of you, you could end up surprising yourself. But yeah, definitely trust yourself, so obviously. But yeah, so I feel like for this group, what you're growing in terms of like how you perceive the world. I feel like for some of you, you're going to be seeing the world with like a lot more color, a lot more optimism, even. So yeah, for some of you in this group, you're growing into someone who's maybe more of a dreamer, in a good way, like someone who yeah, someone who lets themselves be hopeful, lets themselves have a dream, have a goal, and kind of just feel, and it doesn't feel like pressure to reach this goal or pressure to, whatever it may be. It just feels natural. It just feels like I'm opening my mind up a little bit. So yeah, for some of you, you're definitely growing in terms of your perception, opening your mind in some way. Um, so yeah, for some of you, you could be growing into someone who doesn't feel trapped. So even though some of you are growing into someone who's more emotional, I feel like others of like this could also be like included, but for some of you, you're growing into someone who is repressing their emotions, but this doesn't feel like in a way where you're not feeling your emotions. It just feels like it's in a way where you don't, or you try not to let it overwhelm you. So it's like, even if you have overwhelming emotions and like say you have to like work or you have other responsibilities, but it's like, I'm feeling like effed up right now, okay? But for some of you, it's like, even though you have responsibilities and even though you're not feeling maybe the best, like this is just an example, it's like you'll be honoring those emotions, and instead of feeling overwhelmed and then kind of digging into your responsibilities, which is making you feel even more overwhelmed, like you guys are just going to be honoring your emotions a lot more moving forward. um yeah, and just kind of not allowing certain emotions to overwhelm you. So I feel like also for this group, you guys are growing in terms of no longer aligning with unrequited love. Um, for some of you, you guys are growing in terms of healing from heartbreak. This does not need to be romantic. It could be, friends, family. But yeah, some of you could be healing from a loss, healing from a heartbreak. But I feel like, yeah, this group is growing in terms of maybe feeling more emotionally secure. But I do feel for some of you, you're going to be feeling more emotionally secure, but at the same time unavailable. Like, I really hope this makes sense to someone. Um, it just feels like I'm personally honoring my emotions, but maybe that energy is not necessarily directed to external, things and people, if that makes sense. So maybe you're honoring your emotions more so for yourself as opposed to like how that may impact other people. So for some of you, you could be, closing off your heart to certain people or to certain things. It's like, if it doesn't align with me or if it doesn't feel right for me, um, so it's like you're growing, maybe becoming more emotionally strong, secure, grounded, and at the same time a little bit unavailable. But if that doesn't make sense for you, don't force the message. Like sometimes messages like sound really weird. Like I'm not talking about this reading, but sometimes messages sound really weird, and it just could be like for a specific person. I don't know. But yeah. So I feel like you're also growing into someone who's not pressuring yourself, especially in regards to love and romance. Growing into someone who's maybe more comfortable and confident alone, maybe kind of doing more things alone, not necessarily being alone all the time, but kind of just doing more things alone and feeling okay, being in your own lane, doing your own thing. But yeah, this group, I definitely feel like you're growing into someone who is financially secure, Actually, I do have to say, I feel like some of you are also growing into someone who is more comfortable saying no. Like, no, did I hurt your feelings? I really don't care, you know? So I feel like for some of you, you're going to be honoring your emotions, but other people may perceive this as you being unavailable, but it's not. You're just looking after yourself and looking after number one. You may be filling your own cup, you know? But yeah, like, and if any of you, if generational wealth is important for you, if that's something that you know you're gonna achieve, or that's something that you want to align with, um that is how you're growing. Like, you're growing into someone who is going to create generational wealth, if that's something that you wanted. So yeah, you're definitely growing into someone who's secure in yourself and your environment. You're some of you really are creating a legacy. Like, it's beautiful. You're growing into someone who's good with money, maybe knows where to invest their money, knows when to, splash, knows when to, save. I don't know, but yeah, you're growing into someone who's great, phenomenal with money. For others of you, there could be like an increase in wealth as well. So I feel like for this group, you're growing into someone who is more so focused on long term. You know, you could be, growing into someone who's maybe not seeking short term pleasure. And this could be in regards to love, it could be in regards to other things as well. But you guys could just be thinking more so long term, especially in regards to your stability, your wealth, love, romance, stuff that, actually requires maybe loyalty and commitment. Like, you guys are not, seeking short term, you guys are really looking at the bigger picture in regards to something. But yeah, this group, you're definitely growing into someone who is incredibly hardworking. You're growing into someone who's protective of yourself and your assets as well. Um, So, if this resonates with you, I feel like you could be growing into someone who will have a secure marriage, a great marriage, a very abundant marriage. It's like with the Ten of Pentacles, it's love and wealth, and stability and security and all that. So, I feel also for this group, you're growing in terms of your home, your stability, and your family dynamics. Maybe those things are going to be improving for some of you. But yeah, so in which ways are you growing? So we have here, get into the driver's seat of your life. I like it. I like it. So whenever I see this, it definitely gives me chariot energy. Um, so yeah, you could be growing into someone who is about that action. It's like, if I want it, I'm gonna go get it. If I want to do this, I'm gonna go do it. It's just like you're growing into someone who maybe has direction, has goals, has plans they wanna, achieve, and instead of sitting around waiting for a sign, or waiting for someone to, approve of you or what you're doing. Like, some of you are just going to be like, nah, like, I'm getting into the driver's seat of my life and kind of like doing me. And yeah, some of you are growing in terms of your self-confidence. I really want to say, like, your belief in like a solo journey as well, or kind of just being more solo, or just being okay, going at your own pace, or, being in your own lane. So we also have value your self-worth. You are God's precious gem. So which ways are you growing? Oh, so yeah, for this group, you're growing in terms of valuing your self-worth. And with that Eight of Pentacles coming out to clarify, like, maybe for some of you, this has been like, oh, like a long process, in terms of self-worth. Or it's like you think you found your self-worth, and then you realize, like, oh, maybe I need to tighten up boundaries here. And I don't know. I just feel for this group, yeah, you're growing in terms of your self-worth, your self-confidence, and kind of valuing yourself, valuing your individual journey as well. Maybe even, your unique perspective on things, your mind. But yeah. And we also have here, do not be frustrated, let go and feel peaceful. So who are you growing into? Okay. So yeah, for this group, you're growing into someone who doesn't let certain things phase you. Um, So for some of you, you could be letting go of something. Let me see. For some of you, you're letting go of like an ideal, like with the Ten of Cups, Two of Cups at the bottom. Maybe you're letting go of an ideal situation, or it's like you're kind of, it's like, say for example, like I have tunnel vision towards this goal, or you know, in regards to what I think marriage is supposed to look like, or yada yada yada, my career, who I meant to be as a woman, or whatever it may be. But I feel like, what was I even talking about? I'm so sorry. But yeah, I feel like for some of you, you're going to be letting go of certain expectations, especially if they don't align for you, and especially if those expectations were put on you through, I don't know, society, I don't know, family maybe. But what was I saying? Yeah, so some of you could be opening your mind in regards to something that you thought was ideal, and kind of expanding, you know. But that could definitely end up being a very positive thing for you guys. But anyways, moving on. So we also have Sea Otter, happiness, be the master of playful living, release expectations. That's basically what I was just trying to say, like releasing expectations, and it's like you have more options, right? And I feel like you could be finding something beautiful um, with those more options, if that makes sense. But anyways, so it says here, be the master of playful living, release expectations and enjoy every day. Let go of worry. Oh, that's basically what this one says. Let go of worry and instead choose love. Surrender to the waves. Your good destiny of love is sure. Okay. So who are you growing into? So yeah, for some of you, you're growing into someone who is releasing expectations, but I feel like this is in regards to like external things, maybe in regards to, you know, people, relationships, family, maybe even like conflict resolution for some of you. So yeah, for some of you with that Seven of Cups being here, like you could definitely be growing into someone who is, you know, being more playful or just more in tune and kind of more free flowing, and it's allowing yourself to be a little bit of your head in the clouds. It's like, you know, with the Seven of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles, I love this. It's like you're grounded, but your head's still in the clouds. It's like you're not completely anchored to one spot, and it's still like, you know, like all floopy and I don't know, but yeah. So yeah, you guys are definitely growing into someone who's like imaginative and creative and, you know, artistic, but at the same time very grounded and playful. That's beautiful. Anyways. So I feel like for some of you, you are growing into someone who chooses love. It's like say you could react to something defensively, but instead you choose to react through love. You know, even if that means like saying, like I'm not disrupting my peace, you know? So yeah, you're growing into someone who is aligning with love and kind of approaching life, you know, with love. You know, even if that means, I don't feel like this is in a way that disrespects your boundaries at all though. But yeah. And we also have here Black Bear Guardian. Nice. It says, gentle and wise protector, give me your confidence and power. Help me protect the ones I love. Awaken my intuition and guide me. Oh, that's nice. So who are you growing into? So this group, you're growing into someone who's protective, and Four of Pentacles upright came out to clarify. And this could be protective of yourself, you know, protective of your, you know, property, you know, your assets, your possessions, you know, someone close to you, like say if you have children, or like a younger sibling, or someone at work that you want to protect. I don't know, but some of you, you're growing into someone that's incredibly protective, but you're growing into someone who is like at the same time gentle but fierce, 100%. Yeah, you're growing into someone who is confident, For some of you, I'm even hearing like you're growing into someone that makes other people feel confident, or you encourage that in other people. So yeah, you're also King of Cups came out to clarify. That's funny. So yeah, for some of you, you're also growing into someone who's incredibly intuitive, someone who maybe honors their intuition a bit more and kind of allows their own intuition to guide them. And yeah, this is what you're growing into. And I hope this reading could help. I hope it could resonate, or I don't know, be nice in some way. But yeah, it was an absolute pleasure doing this reading. And take care of yourselves, all right? Bye. Hey, I hope you all are doing so good. If you chose the third group, then this reading could possibly be for you. So, in what ways are you growing at this moment? Okay. So, we're gonna start off with your tarot cards. So, we have here the Six of Cups reversed, King of Wands upright, and the Judgment card upright. Ugh, I'm just loving the energy in this reading today. Woo, makes me so excited. Okay, anyways. So, which way are you going? Okay. Ugh. This energy feels like not bittersweet at all, but like I don't know, maybe due to the past and stuff. But it's such beautiful energy. Like I don't know, I can't even explain it. It feels so powerful. And it may not even be like extremely overt, but yeah, you guys are definitely stepping into a very, 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 very powerful energy for sure. But anyways, let's start your reading. So, in what ways are you growing, or who are you growing into? So for some of you, you guys are growing into someone who doesn't allow the past to control them. And I don't say this to minimize anything that happened in your past, anything that you're still carrying, the scars that and the wounds that, are still present, that come with, certain trauma. Like I'm not, just saying that at all. But for some of you, you're not going to be allowing these experiences, these memories to take away from the beauty that is still left to be lived for you. And yeah, so you're not going to allow the past to control your actions in the present. You're growing into someone who is not so sweet and nice all the time. And I don't mean this in a bad way, like you're going to be walking around like, Mr. Grumpy Pants. Like, I don't feel like that's the case at all. But like, say, for example, you're someone who leads with your innocence, you lead with your good intentions, your sweetness, your kindness. And say, for example, you find that people take advantage of these qualities, or, people kind of don't approach you with the respect that you deserve because of these qualities. I feel like for some of you, you're just really stepping into an energy where, okay, you think I'm sweet, but it's like as much as I am sweet is as much as I am not sweet. Okay, so which side do you want to see? So for some of you, yeah, it's like you're not leading with that niceness anymore. But only take that message if it, resonates for you. But yeah, you're growing into someone who is forgiving. You're growing like, and this forgiveness as well, it doesn't even necessarily feel for like another party. It's like I'm forgiving you for myself, my own sanity and my own peace of mind. You know what I mean? So for some of you, you are growing into someone you're growing into someone that is forgiving. You're growing into someone that is very emotionally mature as well. If this resonates for some of you, you're growing into someone that's more comfortable in regards to separating from family. Like say for example, you have a lot of ties to your family, you feel indebted to your family, or you feel, duty towards your family, or maybe you just live with your family. And I just see you kind of like separating from that, and it's almost like when you're like I don't know, it's like, when you've been brought up in a certain environment and it's like things have always been one way, and it's just like you get to a point where it's like, nah, like it could be a different way. Like for some of you, this could even be like breaking like generational curses or patterns or whatever it may be. But it just feels like, okay, you have lived your life, not you, but maybe someone else in your environment has lived your life, lived their life a certain way, And even though that person has influence over me or used to have influence over me, I'm not going to allow their values, their morals to, dictate. So for some of you, you could be separating from your family in regards to that. If this is not family, this could be separating from a community. For others of you, though, I feel like you're growing in terms of creating or finding a family or community. But this feels like away from your immediate family, though. Um, so yeah, this could be like, say for example, you grew up in a certain state, but you're kind of going college in another state. Like it could be stuff like that. It doesn't have to be, in a heavy way, you know. But I do understand that for some of you it is, or maybe a bit, heavier than that for sure. But anyways, I don't know. This group is making me kind of sad. It just feels like, I don't know, like some of you could have gone through like some tough things, and it's like you guys just did not deserve it at all. But yeah. So this group, you are growing in terms of maybe overcoming certain childhood issues. For some of you, maybe even abuse. Ugh. But yeah, I see for this group, you guys are really growing in terms of really overcoming certain trauma. You guys are growing in terms of not being naive. You're growing in terms of, so I feel like you could be growing into someone who makes better use of, your boredom or your free time or your downtime even. So yeah, I feel like you're definitely growing into someone who is supportive, but to the right people. You're growing into someone who is now looking out for number one. Only take this if it resonates, but for some of you, you could be growing into someone who um, doesn't share. But this feels really significant and really powerful. Like say for example, like maybe you're starving, okay, you have a plate of food, right? But there's someone that you see who's starving. They may not even be hungry, honestly, like, do you know what I mean? But you're starving, but you would, give your plate to this person. So I just feel like some of you, it's like you're going to be stepping into this energy where it's like, I'm not going to take the clothes off my back or the food off my plate so you can watch me starve and go cold. Like, this is not so that you can eat and be warm, but so that I can starve and be cold. Like, I feel like that could definitely be a difference for some of you guys. And again, I know it doesn't have to be in regards to such extremes, but for some of you, you could be deciding not to share, whether this be sharing your emotions, sharing your wins, sharing your possessions, your time. I don't know. It could be in regards to something, not so harsh. But yes. Well, yeah, I feel for this group, you're kind of growing into someone who won't allow themselves to be taken advantage of. You're growing into someone who's incredibly strong, someone who realizes how phenomenal you flipping are, okay? Um, okay. So, yeah, this group, you're growing into someone who's incredibly fearless and so damn courageous as well. You could be growing into someone that's really protective. This could be self-protective, protective of your environment, who you let in, who maybe protective of other people outside of yourself. But yeah, you're growing into someone who is great with words, maybe, the way you speak, or maybe just have like, I don't know. Do you know how like you can explain something in 10 words or you can explain it in 5 words? And I feel like for some of you, you could just be explaining in, 5 words, if that makes sense. Oh, I'm so rubbish. But yeah, so some of you are growing into someone who's great with words, maybe great, improvement in communication as well. But yeah, so you're growing into someone who is, or maybe someone who has great self-control. You're growing into someone who maybe has much more energy, but especially take that if you've been feeling maybe not so energetic, or you just have, I don't know. But yeah, so you're growing into someone who has a lot more energy. So you could also be grown into someone who's spontaneous, someone who is maybe attracting fun into their lives, or you're initiating more fun. Um, but yeah, I just see you guys growing into such a very, very beautiful energy. It's like you're growing into an energy where you are respected, but you're also respectful. You also have boundaries, you know? So I feel like you're growing into someone who is so optimistic about yourself, about your independence, your growth, you know, all the possibilities that are in front of you. I just see you being really optimistic about yourself, about your life. Um, so I feel, take this if it resonates, but I feel for some of you, you're growing into amazing business people, okay? Uh, Great and successful business people for sure. So some of you are growing into someone who's fiery, hot-tempered. Like if you're someone who's normally quite fiery and hot-tempered anyway, then this is going to be like in a more controlled way, you know, respectfully. But for some of you, maybe you're going to be channeling that energy a bit more, especially if any of you resonate with being more passive, especially in the past, you know, or something that you've been working on. I feel like, yeah, you could just be grown into someone who's really fiery, hot tempered, but this feels like in a really good way, you know, not in a way where it's like you're just being aggy for no reason, like, no. But yeah, so yeah, you could be growing into someone who's quite controlled. So I feel like you're also growing into someone who has great judgment. You're growing into someone who's decisive, like you know what you want, or you will know what you want. You will know. It's like I know how I want to be deserved. I want to be treated. I deserve to be treated. Oh my gosh. I know how I deserve to be treated, or I know what goals I want to achieve. I know what kind of person I want to be. You know, whatever it is, like you guys are just being more decisive in regards to, you know, who you are and what you want. So yeah, I feel like this group you're definitely awakening in some way. You're growing. It's like this group you're rising from the ashes, and you're growing into someone who's so fudging confident, someone who's so self-confident as well. But this feels like self-confidence in a way where I don't need you to affirm anything to me. I don't need you. What's that word? I don't know. I don't know. Do you know how it's like? It's like I don't know. Maybe I don't need your support. It's just like I feel cool doing me. Like I don't need anyone else's. I want to say affirmation, but it doesn't. I feel like there's a better word. It doesn't matter. But yeah. Um, So only take this if it resonates again, but for some of you, you're really growing into someone who lets their money and their actions do the talking. Like you're growing into this feels like in a way where you're becoming someone who does not feel the need to prove themselves, or someone who doesn't, you know, want to prove themselves or just doesn't care to, you know, I don't really care. Um, I feel like some of you could be also growing into someone who is not playing the blame game anymore, you know, or kind of just realizing, uh, yeah. For some of you, could be growing into someone who maybe takes more accountability as well. So who are you growing into? So we have here guide, follow in the footprints of greatness, right above the King of Wands, of course. So I don't know if this is who you're growing into, but there's a message coming through for some of you guys is that you are being guided by higher forces at this moment and they're leading you towards greatness. So, you know, even if certain things may not make sense at the moment or you kind of feel like, am I doing the right thing? Like you're just being encouraged to trust yourself, to trust the science, to trust the downloads because you are being led towards amazingness and greatness, you know? So for some of you, you're growing into someone who is a great leader, though. For some of you, are even growing into someone who's an inspiration in some way. So we also have here, be gentle with yourself. You've been through a lot and you need time to heal and recover. Okay. Yeah, like, yeah, that's the feeling I got earlier. Like, you guys have been through a lot. And maybe for some of you, you could be growing in terms of maybe being gentle with yourself, and it's like just not beating yourself up over certain things, and maybe kind of reaching a point of forgiveness, or a place where you're able to heal and recover from certain things that may have happened. And finally, we have happy life, live a less guarded life. That's so nice. Okay, so who are you growing into? The Ace of Cups and the Temperance card upright came out to clarify. But for some of you, yeah, you're stepping into an energy, or you're growing into a person that attracts nothing but love and happiness. Um, for some of you, you could be growing into someone who's less guarded as well. But yeah, so you're growing into someone who maybe lives a less guarded life. And I feel for some of you, you're growing into someone that feels safe, that feels maybe self-protected as well. Maybe even, energetically protected from your guides, from your higher powers, whatever that could possibly be for you. So we also have here Heron. I hope I'm saying that right. Heron, right? So Heron, patience, and it says create a place in nature's stillness and be renewed. Yeah. So for some of you, yeah, there is a renewal either happening currently. Some of you may even resonate with, like, I don't know what to call this in normal terms, but like, dark night of the soul. I know some people call it that. Uh, sorry. Sorry, I was laughing at something in my head, okay? Just in case someone gets offended. But yeah, so it says create a place in nature's stillness and be renewed. Take time alone to find balance. Step confidently towards your purpose. Patience will bring you rewards. Okay. So I do feel like for some of you, if you've been feeling impatient with yourself, you're just being reminded to be, patient. Like, if things feel stuck or at a standstill right now, I definitely feel like it's the universe kind of working its magic in the background, maybe redirecting you, or kind of just, sometimes there's the calm before the storm, but again, it may not be calm, and it may make you feel anxious being stuck, or delayed in some way. And the storm doesn't necessarily have to be a negative thing. So kind of just switch it around, I guess. But yeah, I feel like you guys are growing into, I can't remember what I was saying. I'm so sorry. I can't remember what I was saying. So yeah, for some of you, you could be growing into someone who's patient with yourself. You could be growing into someone who maybe is, more like feeling more drawn to nature, or just being in more natural environments, being in the company of people who are maybe more authentic and stuff like that. So that's who you could be growing into. So you could be growing into someone also who knows when they need to take a step back in order to realign or find balance with themselves. So for some of you, you could be growing in terms of your purpose. Like, say, for example, you've already found your purpose, you could be growing in regards to that. But for others of you, you guys are growing in terms of moving towards your purpose in some way, especially with that King of Wands being there, the Judgment card. It's just so nice. Anyways. But yeah, for some of you, you're definitely being reminded to be patient with yourselves at this moment, okay? Or you're growing into someone who's patient. And finally, oh, we have two birds. What do birds symbolize again? Freedom. Maybe for some of you, you're growing into someone who's more free in some way. So whether this be in a way where you're less restrictive of yourself, yeah. maybe even traveling for some of you guys. But anyways, it says here Loon intuitive. So for some of you, you guys are growing in terms of your intuition. So it says here, listen to the song in your soul, trust your intuition as you have a way of knowing, emerge from the busy life and seek more solitude. Okay. So for some of you, you guys could be growing into someone. So there was a message earlier about like boredom or downtime. So for some of you, you could be growing into someone who maybe appreciates your downtime a bit more, appreciates the moments where you're not so busy, and maybe even utilizing those moments a bit better. Like sometimes, like I know when I have like a free minute, like I feel the need to be doing something that I maybe felt like I should have been done already, you know. But some of you could be kind of stepping into that energy. It's like, yeah, I have stuff to do, but I also need to put myself first. Um, and kind of, yeah, just maybe not being so hard on yourself. So for some of you, you're growing into someone who's maybe not so busy, or things are just kind of balancing out so you don't feel so chaotic or hectic, or you know. So I feel like you're growing into someone who, does whatever you need to do when it comes to needing your solitude. Like I'm not saying, I don't even feel like for this group that you guys could be a mixture of ambiverts, introverts, extroverts. It doesn't really matter, but I feel like you'll be honoring the moments where you do feel like you need a bit of me time, a bit of space, you know? Oh, so it says here, recognize that you are unique and that you are loved. So yeah, you could be growing into someone that owns your uniqueness. Even if you don't see it as unique and you just see it as me being me, yeah, you're definitely growing into someone that is just okay with being themselves. You're growing into someone really fiery. Like when I was clarifying, a lot of Wands cards came out. So yeah, growing into someone who's intuitive, someone who honors their intuition, trusts their intuition. For some of you, I'm hearing like there's been this passion or there's been this calling for you guys, right? Or there's something in your heart or something in your soul that you kind of just feel like you're being drawn towards. For some of you, you may not even know what this thing is that you're being drawn towards, right? But I feel like I don't even know where, I can't remember what I was going to say. But yeah, you guys could be, because everything just seems more quieter, like your mind is quiet, maybe your surroundings are a bit more quiet right now. And I feel like it's just like you're gonna be able to hear the voices in your head a bit better, but like the good voices, the angels and the good spirits that are trying to communicate with you, your guides, your benevolent ancestors and stuff like that. But yeah, some of you are going to be getting downloads and you're going to be in, what's the word I'm trying to look for? Being able to listen to that download guidance. Anyways, that is all I have for you though, for those of you who chose this group. I hope it could resonate. I hope it can make sense for you. But I'm wishing you the absolute best on your journeys moving forward, okay? Please take care of yourselves. Bye.